Although the nice thing about this is it actually cuts stuff. So what you can do is you can do certain spells, or like have certain items in the later in the game, and what you can do is kind of use that to your advantage. In this case, like if you make something bleed, there are certain abilities or weapons that'll allow you to kind of absorb that blood and actually regain life and everything. So definitely some interesting abilities. See, for instance, right there, even though these generally bleed a lot whenever they die anyway, you're going to notice that they also bleed, they spray out toward me, and what I can do is I can actually cast something called Dark Metamorphosis, which I can actually cast immediately. There we go. And now I regain life every time I actually absorb blood spray. So that really comes in handy, if you got like more slow-moving enemies nearby. It's really hard to say if it's useful in a lot of other situations. I mean, there are actually, I would say, better spells out there like Soul Steal. As far as health recovery goes, anyway. There are other spells you can use strictly for attacking, but you'll find that it's generally better to, exploit the attacks like, Soul Steal that actually gain you something in return as well, so. Now this sub-weapon I just picked up, it's the Babooty, or something along those lines, and the way these work, they're essentially sacred ashes, and what happens is if you throw them out on the ground, they kind of spread out. They're kind of like holy water, although they don't last quite as long in terms of, from when they hit the ground till they, dissipate. But, it's basically like holy water with a bit more range to it. Of course, right there I just got the holy water anyway, which I really prefer. As long as you can hit stuff with it, it's probably one of the better sub-weapons in the game. I'm gonna keep this dagger for now, just because I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the entrance to one of the Saturn exclusive levels, and I have a feeling that I'm not gonna get very far in there without this, just because one of the enemy types in there. And even though a lot of the Saturn exclusive enemies, even though they seem to get a lot of flack for not really being up to the level of quality that the original ones were, I'd say that they add some interesting gameplay mechanics to the mix. You'll find that most of the enemies actually have some kind of special twist to them that makes them a bit more, I would say, interesting to defeat. And you'll also notice these and some of the other enemies in the game, they have different death animations than they actually had in the PlayStation version. These marionettes here, they kind of spin off, whereas I think in the PlayStation version, they basically just fall to pieces. It's really hard to say which one would probably be more processor intensive. Frankly, I don't think it makes much of a difference here, and this death animation obviously doesn't look quite as good as the one in the PlayStation. But you actually find situations where it's very much the opposite, and the Saturn version actually has the superior death animations for certain enemies. Like the Were-Skeleton, I'd say that looks a lot better on here. Knives aren't really really doing a lot to him, so let me just take him out here. I'm actually just gonna take him out with a spell here. That'd be a lot better. There we go. Yeah, the spell's gonna be pretty devastating there. I'd say that the only thing that really makes the game a bit more difficult initially is if you don't know the spells, because you can buy them in the in the library. You don't really have to buy them, but if you don't know what they are and you don't have any kind of guide or someone to tell you what they are, obviously you're not going to have access to those as quickly. I was actually thinking I could get something else there, but I don't quite have the mobility in the air going to actually allow it. There's something right down below there. Oh, and one thing I didn't comment on before is the death animation of this enemy over here. It's actually called Cthulhu, but that's actually not right. There's always been a mix-up in terms of the name of Cthulhu and Malachi for the US versions of these games. I don't know if they just decide to stick with it or what, but I mean it's very obvious this isn't Cthulhu. This should be Malachi if I'm not mistaken. But in either case, his death animation there, he actually kind of shrinks as he explodes in this version, whereas in the PlayStation version he actually just kind of blows to pieces more or less. And this is the entrance to the haunted prison. We won't be able to get all the way through here because there's actually a gate blocking the way that'll have to be opened from the other side. But I'm going to show you this anyway. Now these enemies, I can't remember exactly what they're weak to, but they're basically a pain if you don't have something along the lines of a sub-weapon like this with you. The Bible does work pretty well as well. I have a feeling I'm going to die here if I don't heal, so I'm going to heal real quick. In fact, that'll give me a chance to kind of show you something else on here. This third, hand as it is, you can actually use this just for items. It doesn't hold any weapons at all, but it's actually activated with the left trigger. So it kind of comes in handy if you don't want to de-equip a weapon or something like that. It kind of comes in handy for an extra item slot, basically. Let's see, what do I want? I'll just use this. Give me a little bit of invincibility anyway. Yeah, basically, there's not really much else I can do right here. It's just, there's a gate over there, and I'll have to go through this level from the opposite direction. So what we'll do in the meantime, let's just get out of here real quick. And hopefully not get pummeled in the process. Yeah, generally the reason I don't even waste my time with this area otherwise is because I'm obviously far too under-leveled to actually be here right now. But it's definitely doable. It's just not really recommended. A lot of people claim that these areas are too easy, but they're certainly not too easy within the context of when you can originally visit them, so... Ah, shit. You know what? I'm gonna get fucking owned here. Damn it. That's not gonna fucking help me out. Thanks a lot, assholes. Okay.